We have details of all these stories and more. Be part of the show. We'll be happy to hear your thoughts on the many stories we have for you tonight.
The news now in detail, and the Kolebu Teaching Hospital's renal unit has been reopened after more than 5 months of closure for outpatients with kidney disease needing dialysis. Patients have been asked to submit their current laboratory result to the facility, a prerequisite before being scheduled for dialysis. Godwin Asidiba has the latest updates and reports.
Enoch Bracco, a patient with kidney disease in the waiting area of the renal unit at the Kolebu Teaching Hospital. Weak and pale with longing eyes, he is one of many outpatients scheduled for vital dialysis at the facility.
Yesterday they called me to come for lab request, so I come and do it today, so that I'll get a chance to do the dialysis for today. Now they said they have opened, but we are going to pay 380. Normally it's cool, but we will take it like that. We will take it because outside we pay 500 cedis or 600 cedis or so. Yeah. So we will manage it for some time.
The outpatient facility was closed in May, forcing him to seek dialysis at private centers, which proved financially challenging, resulting in a reduction of his weekly sessions from 3 to 1.
380 I can afford in a week. Yeah, I'll try my best to come for dialysis on once in a week. I'm supposed to do 3 times, but you know the money problem, so I don't have the money, so that's why I'm coming only one.
Rabiu Yande, along with his wife, has arrived and expressed relief at the moment.
I'm a bit relief, at least. It's quite better than doing it outside. I feel Kolebu is the best. Okay. Yes, because when I finish my dialysis, how I feel when I compare it to how I feel when I do it outside. Yeah, so I think Kolebu is quite good for me. I've been called to come and do a few laps before they call me to start coming.
Patients are required to provide their lab results before scheduling dialysis to prevent potential bacteria from private dialysis centers.
We really appreciate Kolebu for hearing our cry, the government hearing our cry, and then finally asking us to do our lab. As you can see, I've just come for my request to go and do my lab, so that maybe on my next session I can easily have access to the place. Per our source, and if you don't take it, as they've reopened, maybe in a month or two, the place will be closed down. If the external things that they were talking about has not been done, the owing of the Fizenos, and then I think we will need more machines. Because as of now, the main renal unit, the machines there all have broken down. So now they are bringing all the ward cases here. We, the OPD, we are normally about 250. We are many. As of now, per my checks, instead of our normal double sessions, we are going to get 1 a week, because that is what they can contain now, because a lot of pressure is on them now. So we will still appeal that they should get more machines so that they can fix the up there for the ward cases, for them to have it, so that the OPD can also have it soon, so that to bring the pressure down.
As patients eagerly return to the renal unit, bringing in the lab results serves not only as a procedural necessity, but also as a collective effort to safeguard public health. Stay tuned for continuous updates on this encouraging development as the renal unit at the Kolebu Teaching Hospital opens its doors to usher in a new chapter of healthcare accessibility for those grappling with kidney disease. Godwin Asidiba, TV3, Kolebu Teaching Hospital, Accra.
Let me now take you through how this decision was reached after 5 months of closure. So first of all, the Kolebu dialysis unit has been reopened to outpatients, and this decision was taken after engagement with the health minister. Now, the health ministry is currently working to offset the 4 million cedi debt. There's been a call on Parliament to expedite action on proposed dialysis fees and charges. And there has been an appeal to stakeholders to help prevent the reoccurrence of the closure of the Kolebu dialysis units, which has now been opened to outpatients.
All right, let's do some political stories now. 3 days after the New Patriotic Party's presidential primary, John Dramani Mahama of the NDC has criticized President Akufo-Addo for orchestrating a grand scheme to elect his vice, Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia, as the party's flag bearer. The NDC flag bearer says the economic quagmire that the NPP plunged the country into requires redemption, with all Ghanaians involved in the process of recovery.
Mahama has commenced a series of stakeholder engagement as a roadmap to securing power in 2024. The meeting with the Trades Union Congress was at their request. Failing to secure the mandate in 2020 to have his People's Manifesto implemented, the TUC sees his grand economic change agenda as a way forward.
I can imagine the amount of jobs that this kind of thing will create. That could be the game changer. I'm telling you that you have opportunities. In this country, we work 24 hours, 3 shifts. So if you don't get a job in the morning, you can get it in the afternoon or in the night. So where are the young people? Get ready for jobs.
A recent demonstration by the NDC minority leader calling for the head of the BOG boss over the 60 billion cedis laws had gotten the Secretary General of the Union throwing his support behind them, asking for reforms at the central bank if the NDC secures the mandate.
Not too long ago, there was a massive demonstration. It's a sign that things are going wrong in that place. Misplaced priorities and all that. We have to change it, and we will. You know, we think that we have a lot of brilliant people in the central bank. I can tell you. But you know, because they are all working to that wrong policy framework, they are working very, very hard for the wrong things. And we have to change it. Once we get it right, those same people there will change this country forever.
John Mahama was presented with a signed copy of the Workers' Manifesto, giving an assurance of inculcating provisions in the People's Manifesto.
For the first time in over 50 years, we have defaulted in payment of our debts, and we've been downgraded by credit rating agencies to the lowest level ever experienced, junk, in other words, baller status. The escalating cost of living driven by hyperinflation, a collapsing currency, and rising prices of essential items, including food, has made life unbearable for millions of Ghanaian households who are currently practicing the 001 or 010 or 100 formula. For those of you who know it, you know it.
While courting the support of the trade union, he took a swipe at the president, Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo.
We also have a president who has run out of ideas on how to solve the economic challenges we find ourselves in. And by his recent declaration, his focus and last energies are going to be expended on installing his anointed successor as the next president. The NDC proposes a series of transition measures to address the economic decline and set Ghana on the path to recovery. These measures include reducing the public debt by placing a moratorium on non-concessional borrowing, actively seeking concessional financing and grants, and reviewing legislation to limit the non-core activities of some state-owned enterprises.
In more news tonight, Accra recorded a 17% decline in road fatalities from 123 in 2021 to 102 in 2022. That's according to the Accra Road Safety Report. Road safety advocates say increased education and adequate investment into road infrastructure will reduce the numbers.
2,373 road traffic deaths were recorded in 2022, with pedestrians being the most affected, according to the report. Out of every 10 road fatalities, 8 are men. While small crashes were recorded on weekdays, fatalities increased on the weekend, with the Tetekwashi-Malam Highway, popularly referred to as N1, being a high-risk fatal crash corridor in the last 5 years.
The situation is dire, given that a majority of all the deaths recorded in Accra not just for 2022, but over the last 5 years, have been among pedestrians. It is true that there have been some modest reductions in the overall number of deaths. There are minimum cost but high impact measures that can definitely be implemented to improve pedestrian safety, including providing designated crossings for them, reducing speeds around pedestrian built areas.
The National Road Safety Authority stated it will take swift action against road abusers.
The trend highlighted in the report can assist in allocating resources more efficiently. This includes financial resources, personnel and equipment, enforcement, education, and infrastructure development. Advocacy groups and NGOs can also use this report to make a case for policy changes and increase investment in road safety initiatives.
The 5th edition of the report was published by the Accra Metropolitan Assembly, Bloomberg Philanthropies, and Vital Strategies.
All right, so let's go to one of our headline stories we have for you tonight. And CHRAJ, that is the Commission on Human Rights and Administrative Justice, has instructed the board chairman of the Ghana Airport Company, Paul Adom, to desist from interfering in the day-to-day management of the institution. This is part of a report that found him culpable for abuse of office and breach of procurement rules in the acquisition of Christmas trees to decorate the airport.
The petitioner, Sakut Amenga, asked the Commission to surcharge Mr. Paul Adom with the amount involved regarding the procurement of the Christmas trees and cause his removal as board chairman of the entity that manages Ghana's airports. The respondent, Paul Adom, according to the CHRAJ report, indicated that the process of acquiring the trees and light decorations did not lend itself to the Procurement Act and therefore he was not at fault. After examining the matters in issue, CHRAJ found that the respondent, Mr. Paul Adom, partly interfered in the procurement of the Christmas inspirations by the Ghana Airport Company Limited in 2021 by making demands for invoices. The interference of the respondent in the procurement of Christmas inspirations by the management of the Ghana Airport Company Limited amounted to an abuse of office. That the interference of the respondent in the procurement of the Christmas trees and communications by him were contrary to the principles of corporate governance, and that the Christmas inspirations for 2021 were valued at 128,000 and not 118,000 as alleged by the respondent, Mr. Paul Adom.
All right, so clearly the CHRAJ report is out. We are getting reactions to it. But first of all, let's speak to the petitioner, Sakut Amenga Etego, who decided to take the matter up to CHRAJ to investigate and actually sought some reliefs from CHRAJ. He's joined us via Zoom for a quick chat. Mr. Amengo Etego, good evening. Thank you for your time. Right, kindly unmute for me so we can hear you. But while you do that, we realize that in your petition to CHRAJ, you were asking that Paul Adom, who is the board chair of the Ghana Airport Company, to be surcharged for the amount that was used to purchase the Christmas trees. Have you seen the CHRAJ response, and what are your immediate thoughts on the response CHRAJ has given to that? Hello, Sakut, can you hear me? Right, so Sakut Amenga Etego is the one that petitioned CHRAJ, asking them to investigate concerns about some Christmas trees that were procured by the Ghana Airport Company around 2021, where the board chair in the person of Paul Adom has also been mentioned in the report. Earlier, or according to the report, Paul interfered or does interfere in the day-to-day running of the Ghana Airport Company. And so one of the reliefs that Sakut was seeking from CHRAJ as part of this investigation was to ensure that Paul is made to pay back. So we just want to find out from him what he makes of the report that has been released by CHRAJ. Mr. Sakut, can you hear me? All right, we don't have a good connection to Sakut. Let's go to the phone lines now. We've been joined by the board chairman of the Ghana Airport Company, Paul Adom. Mr. Adom, good evening. Thank you for your time on TV3.
Hello, good evening. I'm not hearing you clearly, sir, but it's okay. I'll manage.
Great. To start with, we know that you were part of the CHRAJ investigation. In fact, the petitioner was asking that you, for instance, be made to pay for or be surcharged for the procurement processes of getting some Christmas trees. What are your immediate response to the CHRAJ response or report to the investigation?
Did you say CHRAJ said I should be surcharged?
Sorry?
Did you say CHRAJ said I should be
surcharged?
No,
I'm saying the petitioner was asking that you be surcharged. But even before we come to that, I'm asking what your immediate response is on the CHRAJ report after investigations.
Well, my lawyers have called me and celebrated that we have been cleared by CHRAJ, and the CHRAJ ruling is in our favor, and that everything that the petitioner was looking for, the three main things he was looking for, CHRAJ denied all of it.
You have been cleared. You mean CHRAJ, according to the report, clears you of it?
No, you should read. No, you should read it. You should read the report. It's in page 52 of the report. If you look at page 51 and 52 of the report, it's there. And if you like, I can read it to you. Do you want me to read it?
No, I have read it. But, well, still on that particular segment, CHRAJ says that, Paul, if I may, thank you. CHRAJ says that you were, amongst other things, meddling. So I'm going to quote specifically what it says in that part, that they recommend that Paul Adomotri restrain himself from interfering in the work of management and restrict himself purely to the prescribed functions as board chair. Were you interfering? Do you agree that you were interfering?
I don't agree I was interfering. I'll come to that. But that is not the ratio of the report, if I may. That is a comment. The ratio of the report is there. It is the reliefs, 3 reliefs that were sought by the claimant, and all 3 reliefs were denied. That's the ratio. That's the ruling. That's the ratio. That's the court ruling. That's the CHRAJ ruling. However, CHRAJ is an organization that is interested in the development of democracy. So they go ahead to make other comments. So they say what you are saying, for instance, that there was some interference. I do not believe so, because if you look at the board charter of the GACL, the board charter allows the board to have an overview over the activities of management. So that if a board chairman demands an invoice, and I'll tell you the story. The story is that at the time I went in there in 2021, I was told that a certain expenditure was going to be made on the Christmas trees. I said to the management and the MD that I do not think that the company is in a position to make that kind of expenditure. Therefore, I will not approve that expenditure, and that expenditure has to come low. You see, the management has a threshold of money they can approve. Beyond a certain amount, they come to the board. So naturally, that was going to come to the board because it has crossed the threshold of management. I said all of these things to CHRAJ. And so once it crossed the threshold of management, the board had to approve. In making that approval, we determined that the value of the Christmas tree spending should not go beyond a certain amount. Now, the request for the invoices, to see those invoices, was to ensure that there had been compliance with the new decision that had been taken by the board, that the Christmas tree expenditure be reduced significantly from the decisions that had been made in terms of the invoices that had come. This is what happened. So I do not see how a board that has a certain review jurisdiction over the management cannot ask for something when it is the board that has to approve the money, because the money has gone beyond the threshold of the management. This is what happened, and I explained this to CHRAJ. That is why, whilst I congratulate CHRAJ for his work, because they've done a good job, I am concerned that the application I made before CHRAJ, that I wanted to film the process, which application was denied, and I accepted this denial because the commissioner has the power to deny it. I really wanted to film this because the high public interest. Today, if they had allowed me to film, the record of the film would have been there. The film would have been played, and you would have seen the questions and answers, and you would have seen that I had told CHRAJ that the management threshold had been extended, and therefore the board needed to determine and approve that amount of money. That's what happened.
Okay. And while at that response, Paul, and in concluding this conversation, amongst other things, the petitioner was also asking CHRAJ that you be removed. So how do you respond to that? CHRAJ says that they did not find you, that you had been culpable in some of the accusations leveled against you. So what's your response to the bit about you being removed?
I don't have any response to it because the commission, which is the referee, has given a decision. So if a goal has been scored and the referee said it's a goal or the referee said it's not a goal, what do I say about it? I have nothing to say. I know that I've not done anything to warrant a removal. I knew that before CHRAJ said so. CHRAJ have just agreed with me. So I have nothing to say about that. I'm just happy and thanking CHRAJ that they have done an excellent job and it's good for our democracy. And I'm happy and I'm thanking the petitioner for actually going to petition the CHRAJ on this matter so that we can have a ventilation of the matter. I'm very grateful to him. So please send my regards to him.
All right. Paul Adomotri, thank you so much. Clearly, this is a conversation that would, in the coming days, we'll still continue to have and get further understanding on Paul Adomotri, his board chair of the Ghana Airport Company. Let's see if we can have a better connection now to Sakut, who petitioned CHRAJ to investigate the concerns of some Christmas trees that were procured, under the supervision of the board chair, Paul Adomotri. Sakut, can you hear me now?
Yes, I can hear you.
Great. Thank you for your time. I was asking you my first question, which was that you were seeking, amongst other things, that CHRAJ remove Paul Adomotri as board chair of the Ghana Airport Company, and also he be surcharged for the amount of money that was used for the procurement of the Christmas trees. What are your immediate response to CHRAJ's response?
Well, my immediate response is that if you read through the whole report, you realize that they did a very thorough job, and they actually indicted the Ghana Airport Company and they indicted Paul Adomotri. But then, when it got to the time for them to bite, then they couldn't bite. So they're like, I would say, CHRAJ is like a dog that had barked so much in the report, but when it came to the biting part, then they refused to bite. And I read different motives into that. But look, I've heard people say that he has been cleared, and I heard he himself claiming that he has been cleared. I don't understand what he means by being cleared. Is it being cleared when the CHRAJ says that since 2018 that the Ghana Airport Company has breached the procurement law at 663? You've been renting Christmas trees without a record to procurement law. Is that clearance? Is it clearance when they say that you have abuse of power by getting involved in procurement processes? Is that clearance?
Yeah, but Sakut, per the CHRAJ report, they were saying that the Ghana Airport Company as an entity was procuring Christmas trees without recourse to the procurement laws. They did not say Paul Adomotri was involved in that.
But don't forget, they have said that Paul Adomotri was involved with procurement when he asked for invoices from companies. And when he went out to go and speak and defend the Ghana Airport Company about this matter. Didn't they say that? And they have said that he abused his power. And so if you are the board chairman and they say the company has breached the procurement law, are you absolved from it? Are you not part of the board? Are you not the board chairman of the company? So if the company has breached the procurement law, how do you say that you are wrong? How do you win?
So you are okay? Yeah, or you clearly are not okay with CHRAJ's report, are you, or response?
Not that I'm not okay. I think that people who have really read the report or who read the report realize that the CHRAJ has indicted the Ghana Airport Company. They have broken the law since 2018. They've indicted for power, but they only failed. They failed. Don't forget that when they invited Paul Adomotri to CHRAJ, he refused to turn up. They had to subpoena him. And when they subpoenaed him, he refused to tender in any documents. So if
Sakut,
they have not corruption, maybe the
we'll be
evidence is
engaging you further on this, but for now, this is what time would allow us. But thank you for making time to speak to us and sharing your position on this CHRAJ report. This is still News 360. On to some other stories now.
Yes, and more news tonight. The voter register exhibition has ended, with most centers in Accra recording low numbers. Evelyn Tinna was at some centers on the last day of this exercise and reports.
It was an exercise to allow citizens verify their details such as name, age, gender, and to make requests for changes. Prospective voters were also to ensure deceased relatives' names were removed from the voter register. But since the start of the exhibition of the register on Friday, November 3, most centers in Accra experienced low turnout. At exhibition centers visited on Tuesday, the last day of the exercise, only a few had checked their details.
The exercise has been very low since day 1 to today, which is the last day. And the reason it might be because people were not aware that there's an exhibition going on, or some are using the short code to check on their phone. And also it might be that because of many have checked their names during the 2019 exhibition exercise, they are not bothered to come and recheck it this time. That's why maybe the attendance was very low since day 1.
How many people do you have on the register, and how many have come to check their details so far?
I have 624 registered voters, and out of that, only 18 people came to check for their details, which is very, very low.
Are there instances where people came to check and their names were not on the register?
Yeah, those that came that check and their names were known. Their names are here, but they don't vote yet. Those people they have been transferred to certain places due to one or two reasons, maybe their work or another things.
Since we started, it has been poor. Like, people are not coming. And I think some of them don't know that this exercise is going on.
How many people do you have on the register, and how many have come to check their details?
For this polling station, I have about 585 people, and then I have like 16 people checking so far. It's very poor.
The education on the exercise obviously was low, as majority of people who spoke off camera say they were not aware of the exercise. Evelyn Tenkma, TV3 News, Accra.
On to some other stories now, and starting the 8th of November, an environmental and sanitation impact assessment will be conducted in communities affected by the Akosombo and Pond Dam spillage as residents' relocation demands intensify. The spillage has displaced over 39,000 residents in 8 districts, affecting 192 different communities. Judith Brown was in the North and Central Tongue districts and reports.
Mafi at the Dome community here in the Central Tongue district of the Volta region, and evidently the water has begun receding. Here it's completely gone, but in other communities, of course, the water is gradually receding and life is bouncing back to normalcy for these communities. But what is left to be known is when others will be resettled into their homes or into other temporary places for them to have a better life for themselves. And this has been one of the concerns of the traditional leaders here in these communities.
For now, we need some resettlements for those whose buildings collapsed, because we need to free the classrooms for the children to go back to school. So the resettlement plan should be very quick. Yes, so especially the secondary school. The primary schools, they are managing under trees and church halls and things like that. But the secondary school, they've not started at all because people are camping there.
Mamaga Ajusriku IV is Queen Mother of the Mepe traditional area. Although she admits water levels have significantly receded in her community, the buildings are not conducive enough for habitation.
We need engineers to come and see how the integrity of those buildings before people enter them, because what we don't want is for people to go home and then have buildings collapse over them.
Deputy Director General of the National Disaster Management Organization, CHRAJ, Saji Amedonu, however, explains structural testing will begin in the affected communities on November 8 to ascertain the levels of contamination.
We have a team to conduct some environmental and sanitation assessment and structural integrity test of the structures. They are starting work tomorrow morning, and they have about 3 days to present their report. Then we'll quickly move to decontamination. At least this assessment will bring out exactly what level of contamination there is to those infrastructure that were affected in the emergency.
Energy Minister Matthew Poku-Prempeh, who made some donations in the North Tongue district, announced that government is working on a permanent solution for relocation through the Interministerial Committee.
So government will roll out things that they think would help. They've seen the impact of what government is doing, and they don't think there's a need to move these people to Saglaban. I'm not sure if Saglaban is available to be moved into. So we'll continue eternal vigilance and internal support. And we ask every able Ghanaian willing and able to help to come to the aid of the people.
39,336 persons in 8 districts have been displaced as a result of the floods, with 192 communities affected. Judith Brown, TV3 News, Mepe, Volta Region.
And from the studios here at Adesawe, you're still watching News 360. We're taking a quick breather. We'll be back with the latest in the world of business. Stay with us.
And Michael is here to give us the latest in the world of business news. And there are some concerns with the second tranche of payment of the IMF.
Yeah, basically, Finance Minister has said we should expect a third week in November. But some economists have concerns that we've not been able to meet all the external requirements to get the money. We have the details. Good evening. Welcome to the business segment here on News 360. My name is Michael Obudu. Now, Ghana's second tranche payment of $600 million by the International Monetary Fund seems to be in limbo. That's according to economist Dr. Saad Idrisu, who says government has not been able to achieve a satisfactory external debt restructuring as of now. Per the IMF's own schedule, the disbursement was supposed to have been received by government as of November 1.
According to Dr. Saad Idrisu, government had planned to restructure about $10.5 billion of its external debts as part of the IMF conditionalities. However, sources from Washington, D.C. indicate what he describes as sluggish progress in negotiations with Ghana's key creditors, including China and the Paris Club, posing a significant threat to the country's economic recovery.
Ghana was supposed to satisfy a successful restructuring of our external debt, but sources coming from Washington to me are indicating that it seems that is not being done as we speak. So that is why the payment of the second tranche is not coming in. Per the IMF schedule itself, Ghana was supposed to receive the second 600 by November 1st.
Dr. Saad Idrisu is, however, calling on Finance Minister Ken Ofori-Atta to be transparent with the state of the external debt negotiations.
Let us know what is happening with the negotiations. Let us know if Ghana will receive the second payment soon enough or not. Alleged citizens will deserve that information. The Finance Ministry should speak up.
Meanwhile, the Finance Minister had earlier hinted the second tranche of the IMF bailout will be received before the end of November.
Ghana has paid its dues and done its parts, and I think it's a reflection of the burden sharing that we did. So I'm hopeful that the third week in November the fund will disburse, that we would get through our negotiations with the independent power plants, which would be good.
Over 40 retail shops owned by foreign nationals in Koforidua have been closed by the Eastern Regional Branch of the Ghana Union of Traders Associations, GUTA. Now, the Eastern Regional Vice Chairman of the association, Samuel Akins, alleges that the owners are violating Section 27 of the Ghana Investment Promotion Center GIPC Act.
The Ghana Union Traders Association in the Eastern region has embarked on an exercise to close about 40 shops belonging to foreigners. These foreigners, largely by this exercise, are Nigerians, according to the Vice President of the Ghana Union of Traders Association in the Eastern region, Samuel Akins. The continuous engagement of the foreigners in retail business brings them unhealthy competition, low sales, and not a very business-friendly environment to work in.
We don't want them to continue breaking our law. Our products are not expensive. You see, we import through the ports and through the borders. And these foreigners, they come through diverse ways. They don't go through the port and the approved route for them to pay the duties on their goods. They don't pay. They don't register VAT. They don't register even their businesses. They just come, open the shop and start selling.
In a related development, shop owners at UTC in Accra's Central Business District temporarily shut their businesses this morning in a demonstration against the increasing presence of foreign retailers. President of the Traders Advocacy Group Ghana TAG, David Amoaten, clarified that the traders do not oppose foreign nationals engaging in business in the country. Instead, they are advocating for the enforcement of regulations governing retail trade.
What we want to appeal to our security agencies and to Ministry of Foreign Affairs, Ministry of Trade, and even the presidency is as a matter of agency, they should sit these people down and tell them what they can do and what they cannot do. Every country have its regulations, its laws and principles. We can't live in a country whereby anybody comes in here and do whatever he or she likes. So what we are pleading is that if you're a foreigner, you are welcome. Come and do business, but do legitimate business. Because now when you go to Accra Central, more than 60% of those shops have been taken away from Ghanaians.
Now, GB Foods, a leading culinary solutions provider, has celebrated its 50th anniversary in Africa, marking a significant milestone in the production of nutritious and healthy foods. The celebration in Accra showcased GB Foods' dedication to the continent, its communities, and its sustainable growth.
GB Foods offers a variety of products such as Gino, Pomo, and Jumbo. Chief Executive for Africa at GB Foods, Visenk Bosch, stated that since its inception in Africa, the company has been committed to positively impacting communities across the continent.
GB Foods is not just about business, it's about impact. Our roots run deep within the communities we serve, creating jobs, fostering growth, and uplifting lives. Furthermore, despite all our successes, believe me, this is still only the beginning.
The global CEO at GB Foods, Ignacio Wiku, emphasized the significance of enhancing local relevance and investing in backward integration.
Our business model evolved to more locally relevant. We went local in our people, production, and brands. We were deliberate to ensure that 95% of our country management teams were local.
General Manager for Ghana, David Aflu, pledged to continue sourcing locally to enhance the country's socio-economic development.
We have said publicly that we are committed to backward integration in Ghana, that is growing our own tomatoes in Ghana to use for the manufacture of our products. And we are currently even starting with a pilot program where we are even doing already a pilot of some farm in the Afram Plains to grow tomatoes on a small scale.
GB Foods, established in 1937 in Barcelona, Spain, has a turnover of approximately 1.4 billion euros and operates in over 50 European and African countries.
Well, that'll be all for the business segment here on News 360. My name is Michael Obodu. Up next, the sports.